92 to 93% of the customers have been restored in record time. As I speak, Mr. Speaker, 51,000 of close to 700,000 customers are without power. 51,000 of 700,000. Jamaica's restoration response has performed well above regional peers and is close, if not best in class, with a level of recovery that is commendable and reflects disciplined execution, collaboration, and professional leadership. I would like to thank and express the country's gratitude to the management and staff and contractors of the Jamaica Public Service. Special commendation to the CEO, who continues to work tirelessly every day. Madam Speaker, Westmoreland has 34,603 customers. At this point in time, 17,096 are out. 49% remains out. St. Elizabeth, 46,145, 18,373, 40% out, or 60% on, depending on how you want to look at it. Let me just pause to remind Jamaica and to remind my colleagues that in December, Westmoreland was at 18% restoration. That was the middle of December. We are now at the middle of January, and we are now at 49%. Hanover, 16,733, only 2,799 are out. 17% remain out. St. James, 62,455, only 8,287 remain out. 13% in the second city. And Trelawney, 21,019 customers, for which only 2,501, 12% remain out. Manchester, 49,438, 2,001, 4% remain out. And St. Anne, 47,334, 723 customers, 2%. The rest of the island has been fully restored in all other parishes. Mr. Speaker, these figures must be understood in context. Despite one of the most devastating natural disasters in our history, Jamaica did not experience an all-island blackout. Following the hurricane, 23% of customers retained service. This is as a result of investments in the grid, solid preparation for the hurricane, outstanding execution. Hurricane preparedness resulted in the proactive mobilization with additional linesmen and equipment on the ground before the hurricane made landfall. So just to put it in context, the JPS had a team of foreign contractors in the island before the hurricane hit. And subsequently, we brought 2 more sets of linesmen, approximately 300 linesmen with equipment that landed here. The linesmen landed here between the 15th of December and the 23rd of December. And the equipment, one set of equipment arrived here on the 27th of December and one on the 1st of January. So in real terms, the 300 linesmen that arrived there before Christmas couldn't do much because they didn't have their equipment. However, when the equipment came, one company has been on the ground for 3 weeks and the other for 2 weeks. And this is what you are seeing as it relates to the recovery. What is even more interesting is that when I made a statement in this house, there were many on the opposite side that were totally against it, led by the leader of the opposition. And I can say happily that good sense has prevailed Good sense has prevailed, and everybody is posting what their success is in Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth.
Minister.
Misleading. You take me a little now?
Turn your mic on.
The minister is misleading the House. The position of the opposition on that matter was that he had indicated that the necessary resources to restore the grid was $350 million US. And he came here to say that the government would be advancing essentially 100% of the cat bond proceeds to JPS as a loan, 150 million US, and he had nothing to say about the other 200, which he said was needed. And we were asking, how is it prudent to proceed in that way? He has flown off the handle, got extremely unpleasant about it, and has still not answered that question, incidentally. We were never against providing financing to JPS per se, but it was the absence of a proper coherent plan to fill a gap which he said existed. He said existed. And he has still not indicated what is the actual cost of restoring the grid. He has not said what the actual cost of restoring the grid is, but he's indicated that this 150 million seems to be adequate to do it. I don't know where the original $350 to $400 million US, which was what was being touted back then. What is the story with that, Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I would ask Hansard to be reviewed. When the statement was made that they were not in support of the $150 million until we knew where the rest of the money was coming, and therefore they did not want $150 million to be dispersed so the people could get back light. The people want light. Mr. Speaker, let me put on record so I can done the argument once and for all. The $150 million that was asked for and lent is the only thing that is on the table at this time to this government. We have no discussion or communication, verbal or written, about anything other than the $150 million to bring back light by the end of January. That is the situation as of now. So until something comes to me, there's nothing that I can tell. What I can say without fear of contradiction, that if we had followed them, we would still be waiting on light till the end of this year because of their bad mind. Madam Speaker, let me indicate 2.5 months after the passage of a Category 5 hurricane, important milestones have been achieved despite extreme engineering challenges, access, and constraints. All major hospitals and health centers have been restored, ensuring continuity of essential health care. The Black River Hospital got back light on Christmas Day. There has been 93% overall restoration of all National Water Commission pumps and water treatment facilities supporting water security across Jamaica. And I say congratulations to my colleague Minister Samuda for his hard work and collaboration on this matter. Mr. Speaker, long-term system resilience is being strengthened, including the use of polecrete to improve resistance to pole uprooting, fiberglass components and transmission lines designed to withstand Category 5 conditions, and network redesigns to reduce cascading and domino-style failures. Restorations continue in Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth, where the work is focused on the most complex last-mile challenges. Mr. Speaker, I want to indicate that as a nation, we must be clear about the reality of the remaining work. In the Western region, what remains is not simply restoration. It is a redesign and rebuild. The final phase requires infrastructure redesign and full rebuilds, compounded by access challenges including new line routes, land access, installation of thousands of poles, and conductors stringing over long distances. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I went to Westmoreland on Thursday and I witnessed 324 poles and 15 miles to get light to the Roaring River NWC station. That in itself is going to bring back approximately 50,000 customers in Westmoreland. Had to be done, despite the fact that when you connect NWC, you are only going to get about 1,000 other customers. You know why, Mr. Speaker? Out of the 51,000 customers that remain, about 21,000 are not ready to receive electricity because of the level of damage in their districts and their communities. So when I say that we're going to get 96% by the end of January, if you really look at it and take out the 21,000 that are not ready for electricity, we would be at almost full restoration in the timeline that the government gave when we loaned the money. We have gotten the performance that we desired, Mr. Speaker, despite the naysayers. So let me just indicate, Mr. Speaker, that we are on track and we are going to be in a position to reach there even quicker. Because if you recall, we had originally said January to end of February.